Okay, what does a Tim Lester leap look like in year two? What does that look like for all of you out there? There were legitimate steps forward for Iowa offensively last season. And a lot of that with what Caleb Johnson, the run game. We've talked tonight about the quarterback situation a year ago was unsettled. And hopefully that's not the case in 2025. But just you'd have to say, based on where Iowa's offense had been, that year one was a definite success for Tim Lester. The throw game got to be better. You went and you addressed that this offseason. You didn't, and I didn't think Iowa could. I didn't think they should stand pat in the quarterback room, though I liked Brendan Sullivan, like bits and pieces of what we've seen from Jackson Stratton. If he gets pressed into action, he, I think, can deliver better play than even we've seen, which was serviceable so far for Iowa. But look, you needed a star signal caller, and maybe that guy would have been Brendan Sullivan if you'd let it play out that way. But Iowa didn't just sit on it. They went and they ponied up, and they went and got somebody that, believe me, others wanted out there in the Walter Payton Award winner, the two-time FCS national champion, Mark Gronowski. So what does a leap look like for Tim Lester in year two? I think it's simple to just sometimes in sports media, in sports fandom, it's okay to just grab the low-hanging fruit and just state the obvious. Iowa's got to be able to throw the football in 2025. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel for you on this program on Iowa Hawkeyes Primetime Live. That's the simple way I'm judging a leap for Tim Lester for Iowa in 2025. Can they now throw the football? Can they unlock that passing game? Can Gronowski deliver under center at quarterback, something we've not seen from Iowa in half a decade? It's as simple as that. You can throw numbers my direction, and you could say, okay, the points per game, it increased dramatically last season for Iowa. From 2023 to 2024 points per game. From 23 to 24 for Iowa. 15.4 points per game to 27.7. Third down efficiency. Big time metric. Coaches will always tell you, doesn't take a genius to figure out, coaches will always tell you, what did we look like on third down? Both sides of the football, offensively, defensively. 29.4% third down efficiency in 2023, 41.3% in 2024. Rushing yards per attempt, 3.3 to 5.1. That's another reason, by the way, I like Kamari Moulton this year for Iowa. That yards per carry figure, I don't think I mentioned this earlier, 6.9 yards per carry for Kamari Moulton throughout his Hawkeye career. But okay, Iowa offensively clearly, radically improved its offense. Points per game, you almost doubled it. Third down efficiency, dramatic improvement there. Guys, we're talking about a 12 percentage points jump in third down efficiency. That's major for Iowa. Rushing yards, 3.3 to 5.1. That needs to continue for Iowa, but you got to unlock the throw game. It's really as simple as that, isn't it? So that if you want to get into the numbers on it from a points per game standpoint, would love to see that get north of 30. That would continue to climb those points per game, total scoring ranks, scoring offense ranks nationally. I think that's important to get into the upper half nationally, upper half Big Ten, upper third. Come on, baby. Can we get greedy? So there are numbers, there are metrics you could look at seasons in say, okay, hey, that's what a leap looks like for Tim Lester. But to me, let's keep it simple, stupid. The KISS acronym, keep it simple, stupid. Throw the football. Figure it out. Mark Gronowski looked like a competent, upper level, upper echelon Big Ten quarterback. I think you can boil success or failure down for Tim Lester for this Iowa offense to that in 2025. Okay, let's see. Other items that I had. Athlon Sports released they posted a story, anyways, on the most difficult Big Ten schedules. And I will table this until a week from today. Next Monday, we'll add this to the bucket list for next week. Iowa was not one of those most difficult Big Ten schedules. They were 12th on what Athlon Sports, how they ranked them. And what I did want to jump into a couple of items before we get out of here. Greg Sankey, you guys know, if you watch this regularly, Iowa Hawkeyes Primetime Live, please, everybody, like, subscribe, share. That's the best favor you could do for me. If you're so gracious, there is that thanks button if you want to donate to me and to the channel directly. But the best way to feed the monster, so to speak, is to like, subscribe, share this show, tell Hawkeye fans about it, come engage in the show. Every Monday night at 6 o'clock, Thursday nights as well. 6 o'clock, Iowa Hawkeyes Primetime Live. But if you've been a part of this show this summer as we've launched it, you know that I love to get into the nitty-gritty of college football, the big topic issues in college football. So, of course, SEC Media Days opened up today, and Greg Sankey, the SEC commish. At one point in time, it seemed as though the Big Ten, the SEC, were in lockstep. They wanted the 4-4-2-2-1 plus 3 college football playoff expansion model. That would be a 16-team playoff. And just to briefly rehash this for you all in case you're unfamiliar, first time, probably most of you know this, but maybe some of you don't. 4 automatic qualifiers for the Big Ten, 4 automatic qualifiers for the SEC, 2 for the Big 12, 2 for the ACC, 1 to that next highest ranked conference champion out there, then those 3 other at-large bids. Under that formula, one of those 3 would be guaranteed to Notre Dame if they met that college football playoff rankings threshold, but 3 at-large bids. It all adds up to 16 teams. And at any rate, this is what Tony Petitti has been stumping for. Greg Sankey today, the opening day of SEC Media Days. The Big Ten has a different view. That's fine. We have a 12-team playoff, 5 conference champions. That can stay if we can't agree. So I still think that we're getting to a 14-team or 16-team playoff at some point. I believe that at some point that will also lead the SEC and Greg Sankey was saying this today too, that nobody out there is signing up to swap schedules with our SEC squads. I do think at some point an 8-game to 9-game SEC conference schedule happens. But at least for now, the 5+11 model, I think you got to say, is in the lead out there. Maybe what Tony Petitti wants for college football playoff expansion. 5+11, pretty simple. In case you don't know what that is, very briefly here. 5 highest ranked conference champions. You know the Big Ten's always going to be one of them. You know the SEC is always going to be one of them. And more than likely, Big 12 ACC, 2 of those other 3 as well. 5 highest ranked conference champions, 11 at-larges. It's simple, right? That seems to be now in the leading position for college football playoff expansion. But at least Sankey applying a little bit of pressure there, saying that maybe we're good with a 12-team playoff. What's best for Iowa? Does expansion matter? I've wrestled with that a little bit over the course of this offseason. I do think because you haven't gone, you've not been to the college football playoff for Iowa, you kind of have to say, right, that expansion would be good, that expansion would be advantageous for the Hawkeyes. So I'm team expand this thing because we haven't seen Iowa get in. I do tend to feel that from an entertainment standpoint, I love what Tony Petitti is pushing out there for the Big Ten, not necessarily for the totality of college football, but I get what Tony Petitti's laying down. I understand his thought process on it. I think it'd be a ton of fun on Big Ten championship weekend if you have 1 versus 2 in the Big Ten play for a Big Ten championship, and then you have 3 play 6, you have 4 play 5, and the two that win those extra bonus play-in games on Big Ten Championship, Conference Championship weekend, they get in. That would be great from a storyline standpoint. It would be great from a television inventory standpoint. It'd be great from a financial standpoint for the Big Ten and for Iowa, right? Because Iowa's going to get a piece of that pie. But for Hawkeye fans, I think the 5+11 model is great, just from the standpoint of there's no risk if this is a year where you're the number 3 team in the Big Ten or you're the number 4 team in the Big Ten. Under that scenario, I think you're getting in if you're number 3. You don't magically play on that Big Ten championship weekend, lose, and then in the first year that you would have been going to the college football playoff, now all of a sudden you're on the outside looking in. So I would make that argument for Iowa until proven otherwise, but I don't have a strong opinion on it. I think expansion in general would be good for the Hawkeyes. And at any rate, that's the latest from Greg Sankey.